guys, welcome back to another episode of my clinical learning, wherein I share my clinical experiences with you all just to get a homeopathic approach or the medicinal part approach, right? So, in this series, we have covered two videos already. This is the third video, and in the previous two video, I had shared you experiences from my morning OPD, which we attend in our college as an intern. So, today's experience is about my OPD in evening, where I practice at Cuff Parade. So generally in my OPD year in Cuff Parade, we see 25 patients, and the time span which I have is around 1.5 hours, right? So that's roughly 90 by 25, so which comes up to 3.6 minutes per patient. And in that also, out of this 3.6 minutes, there are like approximately 5 to 7 new cases daily. So roughly, if I give 10 minutes to a case, what we generally see in our OPDs or in private practice, that we do a constitutional case history of nearly 1.5 hours or 2 hours, which is roughly around 120 minutes. So that scenario here in this OPD is practically impossible, right? Because we have so many patients waiting out, and generally, like, to be very honest, you don't have that much of time to take the full constitutional history of the patient. So what helps me particularly here is the clinical therapeutic approach and the clinical material and materia medicas. And in that too, the two books which I generally follow very much, and in fact three repertories which like I'm trying to get a hang of, is generally the Fatak's repertory, Dr. Fatak sir's repertory, then the Borik's Materia Medica and repertory, of course the Fatak sir's Materia Medica as well, and lastly the Kent's Materia Medica. Okay, so these three Materia Medicas and especially the repertories help me solve the practice, help me solve cases in my practice. And roughly the percentage estimate which we get around success is around 90%, which I had asked my compounder for the month of November and December to combine. And the 10% cases which are not doing, I mean, are doing well but are not cured, is cases like RAOA, which are very long standing, and which TCC's tendency to catch cold and cough. These are some long tedious cases which requires a lot of time and investment from the patient's part as well, and some patients as well. So guys, today I would like to discuss a case of hereditary alcoholism, specifically alcoholism. Okay, so in my whole experiences, since I've started seeing patients, what I have generally seen is that I've up till now I've taken 4 cases of alcoholism. Okay, and in that too, the patient never comes up to us. So today what happened is that the patient's wife came to me and said कि डॉक्टर साहब आपके पास नशे छुड़ाने की कोई दवाई है? तो I asked her कि नशे, कौन सा नशा? Because there are a lot of drugs or things which a person can do or who is addicted to. So there can be like drugs like opioid, then the cannabis sativa, or maybe simple the low level of drugs like the inhalations of the whitener. So today only in the OPD in the morning when I came and when I took the case of a lady, she was very dejected and very disappointed from her son who is an addict of this the white inhalers, what we generally say, the inhaling drugs, the whitener. Okay, so yeah, so the lady directly asked कि डॉक्टर साहब आपके पास कोई नशे छुड़ाने की आदत है? तो देन ऑफ कोर्स माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज कि कौन सा नशा? तो देन शी सेड कि मेरे पति को है ना दारू पीने की आदत है. And the moment somebody asks me this question, then the retrospective question or the cross question you can ask is कि जो भी वो मतलब नशे में धुत होते हैं, तभी वो क्या हरकतें करते हैं. सो माय बेसिक अप्रोच इज टू सी वेदर ही इज वायलेंट, aggressive, or in his own zone, intoxicated and just lying down there. So then just to confirm, because if a lady is also being hurt and abused, then as a doctor our part is to also help the patient, the lady or the wife who's suffering from this issue, right? So I just cleared that part कि from the patient's wife कि आपको कहीं वो मारते तो नहीं है, is there a sign of domestic abuse or violence? तो then she confirmed कि नहीं, वो नहीं करते है ना, जस्ट खाली चिड़चिड़ा होते हैं, गुस्सा होते हैं, बट डजंट हिट हिम, डजंट हिट हर. सो आई वाज रिलीफ कि या, वन प्रॉब्लम लेस टू सॉल्व. ओके. सो नाउ माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू हर इज दैट, मतलब उनके पापा जी या उनके पहले, मतलब दैट तो डेटा मिला नहीं, बट आई आस्क्ड हर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कि उनके पापा जी को भी ये आदत रही थी दारू पीने की. देन शी सेड कि यस. सो अगेन इट्स अ केस ऑफ हेरिडिटरी alcoholism wherein the patient drinks a lot of alcohol daily, more than 100 ml. लाइक जनरली एक पैक होता है 30 ml का, तो वो लोग पैक की, आई मीन, सीमा को तो पार ही कर देते हैं. एंड इट्स नॉट लाइक अ नॉर्मल बियर और द alcohol in the beer form, but the hard, the hard drinks, generally what we say, the wine, whiskeys, and vodkas. So this was the basic case, and of course, then the approach in my mind was very specific, and I had my remedy in my mind as well. So, just to give you all the references from the Borix repertory, we have a beautiful rubric in under the system, nervous system, alcoholism. In that, 45 drugs are mentioned here, have proved beneficial to Dr. Bori to help this tackle this condition of alcoholism. The important three marker drugs here are capsicum, china, simicifuga, cuprum aceticum, hyoscyamus, gelsemium, nux vomica, which is again, I would personally suggest and give a, learning which I have learned all throughout my college years and heard from teachers. Opium again helps, queer tobacco, sulfur. Okay. Now I'll tell you that I had seen a video on YouTube by Dr. Rajiv Dixit. So he was a healer, and his videos were very popular and viral among YouTube. And he used to help people by giving them few clinical tips and hints from Ayurvedic, Homeopathic, and Naturopathy, right? So in that he had said कि सल्फर 30 की आप 4 बूंदे पेशेंट को दीजिए सुबह दोपहर शाम 1 महीने के लिए, तो उससे उनको शराब पीने की आदत है वो कम हो जाएगी. ओके. Again, we see sulfuric acid is of great importance, strychnine purum, and ranunculus bulbosus. This rubric is in respect to Dr. Borik's Materia Medica in the conditions of alcoholism. Now, what I want to specifically focus on regarding this case is that the rubric hereditary tendency to alcoholism. Okay, and in that too, guys, what I wanted to suggest is that in this hereditary condition of alcoholism, we have a very beautiful reference from Allen's keynote, wherein in the remedy cephalinum, Dr. Allen sir mentions that, see, let me just read it for you all. Um, okay, so in the Allen's keynote, Dr. Allen has beautifully mentioned the reference for the lines. I'll repeat the lines which I had read in my third year. Craving alcohol in any form. Okay, so in cephalinum, the patient has craving alcohol in any form. Okay, so we need to remember this line from Allen's keynote. Then Dr. Allen mentions that in cases of hereditary tendency to alcoholism, and in that comparison, we can compare the medicines which are again given here. Like in the bracket, it's given asaram, sorinum, tuberculinum, sulfuric acid, sulfur. Okay, so in the bracket, remedies which are given in the Allen's keynote are given by Dr. Borik as well in this reference of tendencies in hereditary, कि पापा जी को भी थी, दादाजी को भी थी, एंड अब बेटे को आ गई है टेंडेंसी. टू ब्रेक दिस linkage of alcoholism, syphilinum is a great remedy which can be which can be thought of. Okay, so again, um, let's go to some different rubrics and see this topic ahead. So again, Dr. Fatak in the his Fatak repertory mentions that in cases of acute alcoholism, opium helps a lot. Yeah, and lastly, when it is said to overcome the habit of alcoholism, what can be thought of? So Dr. Borik again in the chapter of nervous system in alcoholism under the sub rubric to overcome the habit, he mentions two drugs which are very important to overcome this habit: China officinalis and querbaco. Okay, the another important remedies that he mentions: Angelica, which again is useful in mother nature form, then cola, bufo, sulfuric acid, and sulfur. So again, घूम फिर के वही सारी remedies आ रही है in cases of alcoholism, right? So now let me tell you one clinical experiences of mine wherein I had prescribed these two medicines in mother nature form. So it happened in my second year, one of my friend's father who is alcoholic, and was severely suffering from alcoholism, visited nearly all the de-addiction centers of India, but to no avail and to no use. Okay, so then I asked my teacher in the HOT case format, Dr. Shukla sir, okay sir, what can be done in this case? And so he advised me and prescribed me prescribed to me and told me two remedies that he has seen of good clinical results, right? So sir told me that bring Spiritus Quercus Glandium mother tincture and Avena sativa mother tincture and mix it in 50-50 ratio, right, in this bottle, and then the 10 drops of the mixture has to be taken BD or TDS depending on the severity of the case. So friends, I had given this mixture to the patient's my friend, and she had given to her father, initially unknowingly, and later on she saw the difference remarkably in 1 month. And I had given it in BD because it was not so severe. But these two medicines, along with the medicines which are mentioned here, okay, alcoholism, where it went, yeah, to overcome the habit, okay, to overcome the habit, the above two mother tinctures mentioned above, along with Querbeca China and Angelica mother tincture as well. So you can take Avena sativa 10 drops, Angelica mother tincture, and the Quercus aqueous spiritus mother tincture in 10 drops, and make a nice mixture and give the patients 10 drops BD and TDS. Now, again, let me, so the patient was better here when I'd given this, so we can confirm that it does help patient overcome and create an aversion to alcohol. So yeah, it does help. Okay, now coming back to the part wherein we see that sometimes when we talk about backflow remedies, you can complement backflowers with the homeopathic medicines. So in backflow remedies, guys, a very good remedy to break the habit, break habits, okay, be it of any sort. The most important remedy here is chestnut bud. Okay, so along with that, the above mentioned medicines, you can again read your materia medica very deeply. But if you want to add a remedy from the backflower as well to complement the above homeopathic remedy, because if you have not read about backflower remedies, don't worry. I'm soon going to start the whole series of backflowers, and we'll be trying to understand each and every remedy of backflower in detail. But before that, if you have not read of it, don't worry. Just keep this in mind that homeopathy and backflowers can work very well given complementary or supplementarily. And in this case, what I would advise is that, you know, uh, I would have added chestnut bud if I had the option in my OPD. But like due to some limited restrictions of medicines in our OPD, we do not have the medicines like Quervaco because these are rare remedies. Okay, cola people, I mean doctors generally don't keep cola, Angelica, Quervaco. So whenever such case comes, they order medicines and bring to it. Now, if you ask me that why not these medicines to this patient, so we also have to keep in mind the socio-economic strata of the patient, and our mind should work accordingly. So if I have someone from a very good socio-economic background wherein they are financially very strong, I would have advised the mother tinctures to buy it from outside. But now since we know that the patient is not so good and not so well financially, we would give our medicines only and then see. So in the above case, I had given him cephalininum 1 OD, which will be given to him, in unknowingly. And now let us hope for the results of this case, right? So we'll be hoping for this results soon. And this was my clinical approach and clinical case taking in cases of alcoholism or hereditary alcoholism. And like I have revised few important rubrics and some remedies that you need to keep in mind. And I had this thought in mind also that as doctors, we should and make our surrounding environment and our community more aware about addictions, and let them know that our homeopathic medicines can help them in their journey of de-addiction, especially alcohol and tobacco. Okay, so I had started this campaign wherein I give the medicines for de-addiction of tobacco and alcohol to anyone who comes to me free of cost. Okay, and the only fee which I ask generally is that help someone and tell them that medicines, homeopathy can help them to de-addict. And to my and not to my surprise, because I'm sure that homeopathy works and I've seen it work, so I was not surprised when I had given medicines for tobacco, de-addiction of tobacco, and which remedies I used and which medicines and potencies I had given the patient, which broke the habit of tobacco chewing. So the patient literally said कि डॉक्टर साहब अभी मतलब तंबाकू खाने का मन ही नहीं कर रहा है. Okay, so the tobacco de-addiction campaign and our drive, I'll make a video on that too. And I would really, as the community member and a community leader, I would like my audience to even start this thing. Okay, wherever you see that patients of alcoholism or people are suffering from tobacco or any kind of addiction, please help them. Okay, so it's a duty as a doctor to help them, because only people going through addictions know what the journey is like and how difficult it is for them to come out of it. But as far as it is concerned, I would like strongly recommend you all to start working upon it. you know being little more diligent and little more empathetic towards your society. And if at all you find cases, of course you can try to help them. If not, or if you all like lack anything, I'm giving my number here. You can WhatsApp me with your any doubts or difficulties you have in potency selection. But definitely I'll be making the video on tobacco de-addiction as well very soon, because there are fantastic homeopathic medicines which has helped people leave tobacco, है ना? Not for short term but long term, and of course cigarettes as well. So we'll make that video in the new video, right? So with that said, guys, I'll end this video here because it's already 16 minutes long, 17 minutes. But lastly, just a small request that please do like, share, and subscribe my channel, Med Perspect. We've been working very hard since the past 3 years, 3.5 years, and like the numbers have not been that great, but I'm happy with whatever we have done and whatever we have achieved. Maybe that was written till now, but of course, when we try and be little more consistent, I have seen that the growth is good. Okay, so with that aim in mind, and with our aim of 1 lakh subscribers by the end of 2024, so please help me achieve that. Please do subscribe, share this video to maximum people, and let them know and let them make them aware that medicines in homeopathy can definitely help you fight your journey in de-addictions, right? So with that said, guys, thank you so much. I will end this video here. All, thank you so much. God bless. Thank you.